Hi everybody and welcome to today's FindTheBestCarPrice.com video. Today we're going to take a look at the 2021 Volvo S60. This is the T5R design model. It has a price of $49,005. Let's get started with our tour of this vehicle. Being that this is the R design, of course you're going to find quite a few additional features, and we start here on the front end. And no, I'm not saying these things are part of the R design, but you do have LED headlights, daytime running lights, and LED fog lights down there on the bottom portion of the bumper. And a very popular question, does it have turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors? Well, you pretty much have the answer to that question without me having to say anything. Also, the 18-inch R design wheels. And you're going to find the gloss black finish on the lower portions of the grille down here. Of course, that iconic Volvo look here to the grille. Something that I have to say is very impressive that Volvo has done really well over the years is that they have maintained that look. Something a lot of car makers have done over the years is change those things, so you don't necessarily know what it is when it's coming towards you in the rearview mirror or something like that. With the Volvos, you still kind of have an idea. And of course, you're going to have a lot of great safety features. Front park assist, you're going to have the blind spot monitoring, run off-road protection, things I can't necessarily try and test for you, but they are there nonetheless. And of course, you do have the sunroof up here, the panoramic sunroof. I'll give you a couple of shots of that here in the photo booth at Mercedes-Benz, which I appreciate the use of on such a warm day here in Northwest Louisiana. I'll show you inside and outside shots with that open. It just is a little bit warm outside today. This is a front-wheel drive model, by the way, and obviously, you're probably going to want to know what's under the hood. Let's pop that open and find out. Now, for those of us who are gearheads, this applies. And maybe if you're not a gearhead, this doesn't, but I like the fact that you have the yellow hood release right there. It makes it really easy. I'm going to do this one-handed. I like that, and I like the fact that you have a very wide opening for the hood. What is under the hood here is the 2-liter turbocharged direct injection engine, 250 horsepower, 23 miles per gallon estimated city on gas consumption, 34 out on the highway, a combined total of 27 out of this front-wheel drive model. And Volvo says it will go through 3.4 gallons of gas every 100 miles driven. That's probably going to vary depending on where you live and how you drive. And it is a front-wheel drive model. And here is a quick look at the remote, just kind of a nice look. And I talked about how those side view mirrors have the turn signal indicators built in. They're also power folding side view mirrors, so when you lock the interior, they're going to fold, well, somewhat out of the way. And of course, when you unlock the interior again, they will fold back out. And when it comes to cargo space, of course, we'll open the trunk here. As you can see, I have the pass-through and one of the seats lowered down. You can lower all of that down to maximize your cargo space, but cargo space does come in at 11.6 cubic feet. And let's see, maybe I can do this one-handed. Indeed, I can. There you go. Some car makers are going to tire repair kits to remove the spare tire. Not here with Volvo. That is a good thing. And of course, trunk's not power, but it is an assist, so it is dampened to where it opens very easily. We'll just take a quick look inside here. Like I said, you can lower down the seats themselves, and of course you've got that pass-through right there. That way, if you want to go skiing, you can put your skis in the back seat. Not that everybody is going to do that, but the option is available, and a very tastefully done interior here on this model of the Volvo S60. So a very nice vehicle. Pan up there and let you see a different view of the sunroof as well. A little bit larger sunroof than what you might get in some vehicles. And of course, I'm going to hop into the back seat just to give you a good look here at the controls for the air conditioner. Everything right there. And of course, you have some connectivity right here as well. Give you a good look at that. Before we hop into the front seat and take a little bit closer look, at what you can expect to find there. And by the way, you might wonder, how comfortable is the back seat? Let me just close the door there. The front seat, obviously both seats are pretty far back, but you do have under seat lighting. That's always useful at night for your rear seat passengers. But this seat can be moved forward, but even its current position, I think I can be rather comfortable back here. It's actually pretty nice. And hopping into the front seat, you're going to hear that familiar Volvo chime. And just to give you a quick look here at what is available here, you do have seat memory on the door here. Just to kind of give you a quick look around. Not really a sport pedal there, but it does kind of have that aluminum finish to it that kind of gives it a sporty look. And to give you a quick look around here at what is available here in the front seat, we're going to go ahead. You do have the ignition right here. It's not push button start, but this is how you start the vehicle. And just to give you a quick look at the dashboard and what that looks like. And of course, your steering wheel mounted controls, a lot of different features and functionality and different things that you can work your way through here. Of course, you can push the button right here and bring up some information that you can look at right there and work your way through. We're not going to go through everything, but of course you do have the navigation right there. That's useful, and voice commands that I just activated unintentionally, so let's turn that back off. And hopefully with the air running, it's not going to bother the audio of the video, but I will go ahead and show you the shifter here. This is what you have. We'll put that into reverse, even though there's not really much to see here in the photo booth at Mercedes-Benz. There is the rear view camera, and just kind of give you a look at what you have back there. A few different options as to what you can do. You do have the 360-degree view camera, which is very useful. We can zoom in on a couple of different areas as well, just so you can see what's there. It's actually very useful depending on what you want to do. I won't do too much of that, but just so you can kind of see what is there, we will take a quick look. And one thing about this shifter, I'm going to go ahead and pull it over. You don't have shifter paddles on the steering wheel, just so you can see there, but what you can do is shift, as you can see with the diagram here, pretty easy to figure out, but you can move it over as I did to the left. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting is that you push it up to gear up and down to gear down. And at first I was thinking, you know what, that's kind of odd, but honestly, in a way, I guess it really isn't, because that's very much similar to a manual transmission, a true manual transmission, because you do push up or shift up and down to change your way through the gears, just so you know. And here we have a little bit of connectivity. Got the 12 volt right there, as you can see. That kind of tells you what that is pretty easily right there. Let's see how easily I can get that back in there one-handed. And here's how you're going to work your way through your different driving modes. And here are said driving modes: Eco, Comfort, and Dynamic. Okay, we're going to hop out on the road for a quick test drive here. And who knows, maybe some sarcastic remarks about bad drivers. That's not too hard to do here in Shreveport, Louisiana. In fact, here we go right here. I just changed lanes just in time to see how close that one was. Apparently that truck wanted to take a look at this. I think that's a Nissan Armada in front of us. They wanted a really close up look at the grill. I think, I don't know if we got that on video or not, but I'm driving in dynamic mode. I gotta stay focused here on what we're doing. I'm driving in dynamic mode here in this Volvo, and I'm gonna change to a different mode later on, but just wanna kind of see how it does. Yeah, well, that Armanda's low on blinker fluid, apparently enough to where their blinkers don't work. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of opportunities to make sarcastic remarks about bad drivers here in Shreveport, Louisiana. But anyway, I'm hoping to get a little bit of an acceleration test here just to tell you how this model accelerates. But you know, it's with 250 horsepower, you might think it's probably not going to do that great. Well, you know, it's not going to just plant you back in the seat. Look, their right blinker is the one that was out of fluid. The left one's working. Anyway, I'm about to get passed by somebody because I can't get up to speed, but I'm going to tell you what, wow, in dynamic mode, if I didn't know any better, I would think that this is making a little more than 250 horsepower. That's impressive. Hit that at just the right time. So now that we have the acceleration test out of the way, I'm going to switch over to comfort mode and see what the ride quality is like. Okay, now that we're in comfort mode, we're gonna drive over some railroad tracks up here. This is not a test drive route that I normally take in my videos, but it is a route that I let's say it correctly, drive quite regularly. Not get our words mixed up there, but you know what? Driving over those railroad tracks was a lot more pleasant experience than what I'm used to. Of course, some of that depends on, like I say, you've got to take into consideration, what is my daily driver? And I like the heads-up display, just kind of looking at that in this area, a little bit easier to see, but it is nice and bright. But especially now that we have a little bit of shade from the trees, it just kind of grabs my attention. But this is just one of my personal favorite features. I know it took, for me, a little bit of getting used to the heads-up display. When I first started driving vehicles that had that feature, I still found myself wanting to look down at the dashboard, I guess just out of habit. But ride quality is very impressive. It's not something that's surprising necessarily, because Volvo isn't exactly known for having vehicles that don't ride well. Glad I was paying attention, or this person who drove around the corner without really paying attention themselves, well, we might have met in a closer manner than I'd like to. Boy, I called it when I said it earlier about all the opportunities, and I'm going to look before I make the turn here, make sure nobody's coming. See, I practice what I preach, and you just witnessed it on video. But the ride quality, back to the subject. I know a lot of you have told me you like my sarcastic remarks when I'm out driving around doing these test drives. And you hear my blinker is on too, so I use my blinkers. It really makes me tired, but you know, it just is what it is. You got to put the effort into it. But driving on these streets, I kid around about this, but it's not really that much. It's not a joke. It's true. I literally have my own test track for shocks and suspension. I just drive around on the streets of Shreveport, Louisiana. And of course, right here in this area, even though I'm not really going that fast, the speed limit's only 25 through here, and so I don't want to go too fast, but handling is pretty impressive too. And that's one thing, maybe you're coming out of an older car, and there are people out there who this applies to, and you're wondering if there's any differences maybe with this front-wheel drive model. Maybe you're driving a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Over the years, I've been very impressed with what car makers have done with their front-wheel drive vehicles. It used to be that the handling characteristics and just the way it felt to drive a front-wheel drive vehicle, whether it was a car like this or maybe an SUV, it wasn't the most enjoyable experience. But I have to say that car makers such as Volvo have really improved and upped their game on front-wheel drive. You really can't tell that it's a front-wheel drive vehicle, and if you're too young to understand what I'm saying, well, don't worry about it. You'd have to have the experience. But overall, I must say, I'm very impressed with this S60. Very comfortable interior. Of course, you've got a heated steering wheel and heated seats, all that good stuff. Things that we don't need today because it's nearly 100 degrees, probably over 100 degrees with the heat index. But I must say, I'm very impressed with this model of Volvo. So tell me what you think. Do you own an S60 or do you plan to?
To learn more about the model in today's video, visit the link in the description for a detailed comparison between trims and pricing for the vehicle we featured or any other vehicle you are interested in. These pages feature information such as our recommended trim level based on price, value, and features. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. We look forward to seeing you next time.